Welcome on a day where Manchester United's transfer news is getting shafted harder than Real Madrid in the Club World Cup. But first, as always, Hi caramba. News has been great today, hasn't it, folks? News has been fucking fantastic. Day 36 of us waiting and praying for Bryan, for the news to come, for the news just to here we go. That's all we want. And what do we get instead? What do we get instead? Okay, so here's what happens. The start of the day, we get Manchester United want this deal done before they go on the training camp and then on the preseason friendly tour of the USA. And you think, okay, yeah, well, it's taken a bit longer than we'd all anticipated. As I said, 36 days. But then what happens is then it comes out now that Spurs are now interested in Wissa, and Brentford, wait for it, you're going to love this, don't want to lose both players this summer, which you can understand. You can understand. Two of them are a big, big way of the way they play football. But before we go into that, before I start to lose my head, let's say hello to a few people. Chappie, welcome. It's me, Everest. Hope you're feeling a bit more with it tonight. You were knackered yesterday, bless you. We got Ben says, I said it towards the end yesterday's stream. I feared it would be this De Jong all over again. Only here we go. We are getting is here we go again. I think you're right. Hi, Andy. Hope you are well. Lucas, welcome. Bad news for you, mate, with Kudus. My apologies and thoughts are with you. Yeah, honestly, the Madrid game, man. When are people going to actually realise that PSG are a fucking good side, man? They're a fucking good side. Moxie Shun, welcome. And yes, you are right. It's me, Everest. The OGs. And Carl, welcome. Hope you're well. Right then, well, before we start, as always, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like the video. Guys, we're getting a lot of likes on the videos. The subscriptions are coming up. We're pushing in the right way. As I said, 500 is the target, and we are near at 260 already. So we're doing fantastic. Only been going a couple of weeks as well. This community, man, just keeps growing and growing and growing. I've got a lot of things planned for you this summer. Hopefully, a transfer, here we go, would be the one, wouldn't it? A transfer, honestly, we haven't done a transfer anything. We haven't done anything to do with transfers. Instead, we've had to sit here every day regurgitating the same old shit. I'm getting a bit bored of it. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, we can't have we can't have Kudus, mate. He's gone. And Moxie said, just saw the news that Bryan is not returning to preseason at Brentford. He's flying out to America. Honestly, I said this a couple of days ago and I meant it. Bryan, to be fair to him, has done all the right things. He's been very respectful to Brentford, but there has to come a time where I think a player has to turn around and say, look, I want to go, guys. I want to go. There's offers there. You're just going to have to let me go. And I feel like that's where we need to get to with Bryan. I'm not sat here saying a club should ever be held ransom for a player, but I just feel like because of the likes of Elanga, Madueke, Pedro, that the price keeps getting pushed up and up and up and up. Now, if this was to be a major problem, if this was to be a complete disaster and Spurs were to go in and get Wissa and say, thank you very much. We all know that Frank is a massive admirer of Wissa, having worked with him. The question will always be asked, guys. The question will always be asked, did Manchester United drop the ball in trying to penny pinch? Now, you can't tell me that we don't have the money to get this deal done when all of the credible sources are coming out saying after this is done, they go out and get a striker. After this is done, they look at the striker and maybe another position. There has to be money there. There has to be money. I mean, there was talks at the start of the season. We had 140 million. Well, we've only spent, 62 on Cunha. So it's frustrating is what it is. It's frustrating. Big shout out to Shane. Hope you are well. And of course, Lynn, welcome. Mustafa in the house. Hope you are well. Honestly, we need to get that update on Mbeumo. We need to. You know that I have Saturdays off. Mrs. Robinson obviously lets me speak to you lovely people every night at 9 p.m. But if this comes on Saturday, I'm going to have to take the argument and come and speak to you people about this. We do transfers every day in the Glazers account. Yep, you're completely right with that. And Andy says, Dan, would you keep Rasmus over Vardy, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or Wilson? Yeah, that's honest. I don't even have to put a poll to that. there is no chance on this planet that I am taking any of those three as a striker that starts over Rasmus. I would take one of them as a squad option because I still think we need another option. But yeah, absolutely not. We don't want that. Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Robinson. Yes, you didn't hear that. Fancy Maxwell Cornet, Dan. 80 million is yours. Honestly, Lucas, I would struggle to. I think we'd struggle to get that one done. So, what I want to ask you guys is, what would Manchester United be missing if they did not get this Bryan deal done? If you're new, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I tell you what, we're missing straight away. We're missing the potential there for 20 goals. This guy scored 20 goals last season, and his trajectory since being at Brentford in the Premier League has just done that. Why wouldn't we want to go get this deal done? Why are we still speaking about the same bullshit about United are still looking at this? There is nothing else to be said about it. Like, I get it. I get it that we've been burnt before. I get it when you look at the Anthony deals, the Sancho deals. But, I mean, come on now. We cannot, Manchester United cannot miss out on this transfer. This has been one of those home bankers. We've all sat here and gone, it's not a case of if, it's a case of when. But when you start to see news that Spurs are looking at players like this, so I think even Newcastle's, Iniesta, welcome. I think you might be able to back me up with this. I think Newcastle are looking at Wissa as well. When you start to hear news like this, and you see how quick Newcastle went from we're interested in Elanga to let's get this deal done, there are issues there because Manchester United, as I've said, and I'll say it again, I'll say it in the mic, 36 days. That's how long it's taken us so far. We've had 2 bids rejected. I don't know what the fuck we're doing here. And quite frankly, it's really starting to agitate me now. Now, again, to be fair, United People's TV, shout out to Sam there. Sam is as calm as a cucumber, and I can't understand why. I mean, fair play to him. Fair play to him. But let me tell you this, guys, right? Everyone in the chat, let me tell you this. If Tottenham Hotspur fucking shaft us again, like they shafted us with the Champions League, if they shaft us for a player, they will go down on the list of clubs that I have an undying hatred for, because this just can't happen. This just can't happen. Let's go through some of these comments, guys. We've got plenty to talk about tonight. Definitely not It's Me Everest. Definitely not. And as I said, welcome, Iniesta. Welcome. And yes, make sure you're liking the video, guys. Carl says it's frustrating. I agree. But if we did overpay for him and he was a flop, the same fans would say, why did we pay the extra money? That's a guarantee. But Carl, with that, I appreciate what you're saying there, bud. I really do. But we're talking 5 million more, man. You know, we're not talking, they're not asking for 90 million. They're asking for an extra 5 million. It's reported, isn't it? An extra 5. That's all they want. They want a more of a guarantee cash-wise, as opposed to all of these add-ons that clubs put in that would be unobtainable for a club like Manchester United at this moment in time. So I disagree. I don't think we would be overpaying. And let's not forget, as I said, his stats the last 2 or 3 seasons have just risen. Okay, it's been a lovely steady incline, and I don't think he'd be a flop. I don't think he'd be a flop at all. Yes, they are destroying the club, absolutely. And there you go, Iniesta. I mean, I think I did catch a little bit of the Loaded Mag show. Big up to Pete and the boys. Yes, Wissa is on the list of options for Newcastle. Now, you'd have to say, now that Newcastle have kind of done their whole getting past the PSR side, and they've left it a week, I genuinely feel like Newcastle are going to go on a madness now. I mean, they've got money to spend. Who says they don't go out there and get a Wissa? I'm telling you, if this club fuck this up, this will go down as one of the worst L's we take. This will go down one of the worst. And you've got to feel, where's Bryan's head with all this? Where is Bryan's head with all this at the moment? Like, you've got reports that he's leaving the country to go to America to do training. But where's his head with all this? I mean, surely he must be in conversations with United. You'd like to think his agent has had conversations in United. There's a dialogue, but this is dragging on longer than it needed to. This is where, as much as the money is a bad point, a bad scenario at the moment for Manchester United, this has gone on for nearly how many days? 7, 14, 21, 28, 5 weeks and 1 day. I mean, that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. I despair with this fucking club. It's Me Everest says I'm better. Genio, I think I slept last night and woke up with neck pain. I've got pain. I've got pain, sore, pains here, pain there because of what my club is doing to me. And yeah, you can't blame Spurs, Dan. It is our board. Yeah, I get that, Andy. I get that. And look, they are obviously going to be linked with players that Frank has had under him before. But it's not just Spurs, dude. If Newcastle want this player, Newcastle will go out there and get him. And there you go, Wissa and Watkins on the list. Watkins, another fucking player United were linked with. It's just madness. Moxie says, when Alanga transfer is completed tomorrow, we'll have the extra money for Bryan. No excuses. I mean, I'll tell you what, Moxie, I joked about it last night. Manchester United fans, listen to this. Yeah, I joked about this last night. You know, my quiff's a bit bad there. I joked about this last night, saying that we were literally waiting for the money from this. But if that is where Manchester United are, that we are relying on the sale of a player who hasn't played for us for over a year, then I'll tell you something, the club's in trouble. The club's in trouble for this season. And we can forget about getting Europa League. We can forget about challenging to get Europe because 2 signings in Diego Leon. Oh, sorry. How could I forget? Fabrizio Romano coming in with the fucking win again. Fabrizio Romano saying that we get here we go with Harley Emsden, James from Southampton. 15 or 16-year-old lads. Brilliant. So 4 transfers. It isn't like that, though. We need these players to push us forward, and we need to get it done now, and we can't keep relying on it. Now, there is a beacon of hope with Rashford, which I'll discuss shortly, but guys, I'm tired. I'm absolutely tired. Yeah, Greeland, there we go. Just get Bryan in and build the new United. Well, this is the other thing. You talk about spin. What our club do fantastically. So what have we had today? We've had more pictures of the players in pre-season. More Manchester United players hard at work. Yeah, come on, get in. Yeah. That was an Irons one for you there, Lucas. You know, more of the lads are working hard. You know, they're physically stronger. They're looking good. We're seeing people say to Xerxes, the Premier League ain't ready for you, bro. Right, that's what we're getting. I tell you what else we get. This is brilliant. Sebco to help out with the new stadium for Manchester United. This is a positive. We hope to host the Women's World Cup in 2035. I'm right. I tell you where I am. This is where I am with all of this news. This is where I am. I get that the club was in that much of a mess that we are planning for tomorrow. Yeah, I get that. But if we don't work on what's happening right now with this group of players, with the manager that we've got, that we must have promised the fucking world to, then we are going to get left behind. Now, Potts said it the other night, and I do agree with him. I don't see United finishing 15th again this season. I don't. I can honestly sit here and say that with complete certainty. But I don't look at Manchester United finishing 10th next season and say, well, it's progress. You know, we finished 15th the season before. We've blooded some of the youngsters. That cannot be seen as progress. The only progress Manchester United have to be interested in, fans, players, management, everyone, the only progress that we should be looking at and be interested in is getting back in Europe, okay? And they dare try and spin that. Imagine it, we get to the end of the season, we finish 10th and we're 12 points off Europe, and they come out and say, well, there we go, that's year one out of the way, we got the tough bit out of it, we're moving forward as a club, we're okay. That will be bullshit. We can't do that. We absolutely can't do that. I'm so angry tonight about this, guys. Personal terms are apparently all more than less agreed. It's just up to us to make the deal. And this is another thing, isn't it? Do you remember the days where we couldn't talk to a player before the club agreed a fee? This happens all the time now. It baffles me. And Andy, you're right. 5 million just shows how far we've fallen. Absolutely disgraceful. It is disgraceful. Is it going to get worse? Can it get worse? It can. If you know the reference, you know it. Yeah, Lucas. Yeah. And there we go. Announced today, we'll host the Women's World Cup final in 10 years' time. Yeah, that's it. And that's Manchester United in a nutshell. Staying as far away as possible from letting the fans know where we are with transfers and just mentioning crap that we don't need to know. They can release all of this bollocks later on in the season. Release it in September. Release it in October. Release it in February. It's not going to impact us now. There is no Manchester United fan out there that saw that news today and went, woo, get in. Get in. We're going to host the club. We're going to host the Women's World Cup in 2035. Woo! No fan did that. I don't know if this media team they've got working for Manchester United are just completely stupid or just not in touch with the fans. Manchester United fans want to hear one thing: fee agreed. Two things, actually. Fee agreed, on to the next one. But instead, we just get regurgitated bullshit. And it just winds me up. It winds me up. Will Old Trafford be one of the host stadiums for Euro 2028? I don't think it will, Giniesta. I think it was taken out. I don't think it even made that, to be fair. Lynn says, Brian is growing frustrated, apparently need to pay, just got 6 million from us, which they didn't know they'd get. There's your difference. It is, but you know something, Lynn? Here's the thing with Manchester United. That money will probably go in the pockets of the club. That will go in the pockets of the club. Yeah, there's no reason why look, it's been agreed. Look, he's passed his medical, Alanga. We know that money's coming. Just go out and fucking pay the money. Go out and pay it. Jeez. Top 8 is a minimum to consider any progress, Dan. Yeah, exactly, Moxie. In fact, everyone in the chat now, there's a few of you in here, and if you're new, subscribe and make sure you're liking the video. Put into the chat now where Manchester United were an acceptable position for them this season as a minimum for you as a fan, be it rival, be it whatever, an acceptable minimal position for Manchester United. Mine, I've said all along, is Europe, but I'm going to stick my neck out. It has to be 7th as the bare minimum. Bare minimum. 7th place has to be the bare minimum for Manchester United. Ben McLean says, also looking for a head of senior recruitment. How many weeks into the transfer window? Maybe we need this new person to get the Bryan deal sorted. Club's run by a bunch of clowns. Look, Ben, you must have been copying my notes. Because that's true. So we are looking for a head senior recruitment officer who will report to the director of recruitment, Christian Vavell. Role will oversee senior scouts, part of ongoing restructuring and modernisation of the scouting network. Well done. Well done, United. Well done. Looking at doing that on the 9th of July. Brilliant. A week on Saturday we play Leeds. Then we go to America. Season starts next month. But you choose July. You choose now to say, actually, I tell you what we're going to do. We are going to go out and look for, and I'll say it again, head senior recruitment officer. That's what we're going to do in the middle of the transfer window. Yeah, that'll work. Again, I just talk about Manchester United not being able to read the room. Manchester United not being in touch with the fans. Manchester United, more importantly, not using these and listening. Oh, Christ. This won't be a quick fix if we get fixed at all. No, you're right. Absolutely right. Andy says, would you mind us getting relegated to get rid of the Glazers? Andy, it's a tough question. I mean, look, I don't think I could take us getting relegated because that would destroy me, man. So I've got my uncle, I've got plenty of my family who were old enough to see us get relegated the first time when that man behind me, not Rod Stewart, but Dennis Law scored the goal. And that broke a lot of people. It did, this club, man. And you can't go from doing what we've done to being relegated. Look, all we want is the Glazers, and we talk about this so many times, and the rival fans banter us, and I'm sick of saying it. You'll be sick of saying it. But the Glazers, with the greatest of respect, need to just fuck off and leave the club alone now. They won't know, because they still, no matter how much debt we're in, they will still take money out of the club. Carl says top 6. Andy says 8th. Lucas says 8th. Lynn, honestly, don't get me started. We'll come on to that. Tom says 12, maybe 11. Okay, Tom, I get it. I hear it. And by the way, Tom, that's not me being dissing you, mate. Who am I to say that with the transfers that we've done so far? Who am I to disagree with you? Ben says acceptable top 6. Any less is failure, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with that, Ben. Absolutely nothing wrong. Giniesta said Man United should get top 8 as a bare minimum, in my opinion. And if they sign a good goalkeeper, striker, and centre mid, then top 6 is a bare minimum. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. We should do a lot of things, mate, but we don't. We absolutely don't. Chappie says, I think we'll be in a relegation battle. We have very little quality in our squad. And this is the thing, like, don't get it twisted. Yeah, are we jumping the gun in mentioning relegation? Of course we're jumping the gun. Are we sitting here saying, should we get relegated to get rid of a club? Of course it's going to happen. But this is because of the inactivity the football club has done. We knew what we were on the last day of the season after we just beat Villa. After everyone went, yay, well, thank God that season's over. And Amorim come out and he apologised to the fans and apologised for the players. We knew what we were as a club. And the owners and the people in charge in running this club, the Baradas, the Wilcoxes, the Vivels, they should have already by then been saying, this will not happen again at this club. We are going to go out there and we are going to sort this mess out. And all I'm hearing at the moment is excuses. I tell you what it is, Manchester United, because they're liars. Manchester United at the moment remind me of me to my wife. When my wife says to me, Dan, can you do the washing up? Dan, can you clean the kitchen? Dan, can you do the washing? And I go, yeah, I'll do it in a minute. Yeah, I am. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm just doing this and then I'll do that. Yeah. 2 or 3 hours later, not done. This is the exact same with Manchester United and the board. Guys, can you get us new players? Yeah, we're on it. We're on it. Yeah, we'll come back to that. We're on it. That's where it is. And it's, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm feeling it tonight. I'm feeling it. Lucas says, would you realistically see the Glazers actually going? Looks like they never will, but honest guess, I still think you've got at least 5 more years with them. I don't see them going at all, Lucas. When there was that talk that Manchester United were looking to sell the club to Qatar, and I'm still not sure that ever happened, to be honest. I'm not sure that ever was going to happen. When that come out, there was apparently, I don't know if you remember this, there was that talk that there was inner discussions with the Glazers, because I think there's 6 of them. Is there? Chat, if I'm wrong, let me know. There was 6 of them, and they were saying that the 4 of them wanted to sell, but 2 of them, the usual, Joel and Avram, I think, wanted to stay because they felt, get this, they felt a closeness to the club. Yeah, okay. We'll talk about closeness to a club from the Glazers. Yeah, we'll talk about a closeness, okay? The same closeness that they have hardly been to watch a fucking game at the stadium. The most memorable ones I can think of when they come to watch their club play was when Ronaldo re-signed against Newcastle. Of course, they were there for that because they wanted the pictures afterwards, didn't they? And the Carabao Cup final and the FA Cup final. And I'm pretty sure those scheming, conniving bastards, yeah, I'll say that, were at the Europa League as well. Now that, if you were talking to your mate Bill down the pub, right, and you said to him, "You watch United?" "Yeah, I do sometimes." "Did you watch the game last week?" No, I didn't. And then 6 weeks later in a final, he goes, "Yeah, I watched it last night. I watched it." Definition of a glory hunter. That is what these people are. They're glory hunting tossers. Absolute disgrace. And Tom, you're completely right. What they've done to the club is a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Hopefully, Amorim has a press conference. We need clarity on Bryan. Mustafa, I wonder, right, because we know, as the Manchester United Football Club, we know that guy has done so many press conferences. He says it himself. He has done more press conferences than he's ever had to do as a player and a manager. Isn't it bizarre how we are now, on Wednesday, and there has not been one press conference from him? There's been nothing. That's the club saying, we can't put him in front of the reporters. They're going to ask about Bryan, and we haven't got a fucking clue what we're doing, so we can't put him in front of there because he might say something that means that we actually have to go out there and do a job. Imagine if he sits there and goes, "Don't know, guys, I'm waiting for him too, but they've told me they're looking at it. Oh, we'll have to do our job." There's always ulterior motives with this ownership. Always ulterior motives. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget that. And Moxie, you banged on the money there. 21 likes. Let's get to 50 tonight, guys. Yeah, I'm feeling 50. Well, I'll be 50 by the time we make a fucking sign-in. But yes, nice one, Mustafa. Lynn says, I reserve judgment where you'll finish until the window shuts. Depends on ins and outs. Ins is the key words. Got to be top 10, though. I think we're going to be honestly, we're going to be struggling. So that's how Dan tweets to Mrs. A. She's not been very well. I've been cooking and cleaning and doing all sorts to keep her happy. And Ineos, yeah, well, at the moment, you'd have to say they're not showing any difference to Glazers, are they? Yes, and make sure you are liking and subscribing, guys. Thank you very much, Mustafa. DJ Leakey, hope you are well. Good to see you, my friend. Ben says, I've always hated the idea of it, but short term, should we sell the naming rights of Old Trafford would generate hundreds of millions? And it's only short term until the new stadium is built. It's probably already been looked at. But you know something? Sponsorship with this club at the moment is just a no-goer. No one wants to be associated with the club. Don't daydream and like the stream. Look at that. I should get a T-shirt with that on. I should get a T-shirt. That is that's a great saying. I am sweating tonight, by the way, people. There we go. Look, there we go. It's 6 of them. Yeah, perfect. I thought I was right. Sadek says, this is why I hate the Glazers and Ratcliffe. Cancer to our club, mate. I agree. And what makes me sick is the Glazers are about Fergie's that. Yeah, well, yeah, I know what you're saying. To be fair, Dan, there's no manager doing press conferences yet, but they'll be interesting. It will be interesting when Amorim does get in front of the media. Yeah, but you say that, Moxie. You say that, but he's been doing so many interviews when other managers haven't, hasn't he? So I'm amazed he hasn't. Queen Sophie is in the house. Hope you are well, and thank you very much, Chappie. I'll pass that on. Anyway, let's talk about Rashford. So a lot of people will see that Rashford has been pictured at the club. He's decided he's going to stay and utilise the facilities. No, I've got no problem with that at all, by the way. I've got no problem with Rashford staying and doing that. Look, at the end of the day, he's if he wants to use them, absolutely use them. We all know what he wants to do. He wants to leave the club. And we can see exactly that happening. Now, the one thing I will say is, I'm going to take a sip first. Jesus. Needed that. The one thing I will say is the reports are coming out. I think Ben Jacobs has said this, that Manchester United, rightly so, are saying to Barcelona, no, Barca, wait, Barca. You're not getting him on loan, lads. Yeah? You're not getting him on loan. You offered all that money to get Nico Williams. You ain't coming to this club and taking this guy on loan. And I think if that's true, then hopefully that will stem something. Hopefully that will bring them to pay the money. Hopefully we will see a player leave the club, because we're no closer, guys, to seeing anybody leave this club at the moment. We're no closer at the moment to seeing a player leave Manchester United. And as I say, I've got no problem with Rashford training at the club. No problem at all. I can see us being back at 15th again with Ratcliffe and the Glazers doing nothing for our club. Negative. Guys, this is what they've done to us tonight. We're on the floor, aren't we? I'm sweltering, guys. Need him to stay fit if we want another club to take him. I said it before, and I say it again. Just imagine he starts the first game of the season. Yeah, and you can tell how much he hates doing so many interviews. Maybe Ineos are actually letting him do some coaching. Well, look, this is the other thing, isn't it? This is the other thing. Whereas Manchester United are not making any signings, you have to say there is an opportunity. We were talking about this yesterday, where good coaches in the old days coached players, got the best out of them. I can't believe I'm going to say this, because this is just defeatist in every sense of the sentence. But is it a good thing that we're going to see Amorim coaching these players and maybe getting his way with them, in the sense of them learning about what he wants them to do? Is he now going to be left with the same squad as last year, minus the 3 that left on a free transfer, and potentially a Rashford and a Sancho departing, and a Garnacho? Are we going to see Manchester United have to really, really utilise the tools they've got and try and build on making money? Because at the moment, we're going to Leeds in what a week on Saturday. We're going to play Leeds with one new signing. Oh my God! And just imagine Cunha gets injured in that fucking game. Oh my days! I'm not ready for that. But we're seeing the pictures. Obviously, Mason Mount's been training hard. Kobbie Mainoo's come back looking very fit. I must say, he's looking lean. He's looking very lean. We're seeing the Casemiro 6-pack fucking pictures as well. I wonder if he's just going to have to do the best with what he's got. Now, if he does have to do that, well, then I do fear for the season, because we've said this before. We can't go on with the players that we've got. But I just wonder if he's been told, look, we're going to have to stick at the moment. Rashford is going to stay and keep his money coming. Oh, don't say that, Queen Sophie. Why let the mercenaries train, get them out? Andy, I get that. I do. But at the same time, I suppose he is technically still employed by the club, isn't he? He's still technically employed. Might not be a reliable source, but I read earlier today that Barcelona are more interested in Garnacho than Rashford. I would agree with that. Garnacho's younger. His ceiling, I think, is higher. He could probably achieve more in the game at this stage, and also he has more resale, doesn't he? Garnacho has more resale wherever he goes. He could go somewhere, absolutely bang for a couple of seasons, and go on and move somewhere else. Manchester United, I think, by the way, with that Garnacho deal, will definitely put a sell-on clause in there. Real Madrid have the same problem PSG had when they had Mbappe. They are getting walloped. Things you love to see. Be fun to see Rashi in a Garnacho Barca kit. Come on now. Notice the difference already with what I've seen so far in training videos. Last season, he'd often stand away, whereas now he's running the sessions. Yeah, I agree. There does seem to be a bit more focus on him with the players. And maybe it's because he's not doing so many fucking interviews. Maybe they're actually letting this poor guy go and do his job. But, I mean, we have to be... Have I still got the first team? Let's look at this, guys. Let me look at this. I don't know if I can put myself in this. Hang on a second. No, I can't. Okay. Look at this, right? And tell me your thoughts. That is potentially, minus Bryan at the moment, that is Manchester United's team for next season. That is Manchester United's squad for next season. Does that squad say anything to you about pulling trees up and going out there and dominating teams? Now, obviously, you've got Diego Leon, you've got Kone, you've got Fredrickson, Amas, Collier, Mainu, you've got Aiden Heaven, you've got Chida Obi. You've still got Amad Diallo, who's young. Does that have the looking to you of a team that could potentially go out there and do something? Now, on paper, there are players there that you look at and you go, they can't be that bad. They absolutely can't be that bad. But this is where my worry is. This is where my absolute worry is. Are there pieces of the puzzle still missing? Are there It won't let me do that. I don't know why it doesn't let me do that. That's a pain in the arse. I'd have loved to have been on the screen with them. There are obvious pieces of the puzzle missing. A number 9. But then would you say 2 signings? I'll be honest with you. I said at the start of this transfer window, get me Bryan and another 3 signings. I'll be happy. But I don't see it. I'd take 2 signings. I'd take fucking 1 at the moment. Let's get through some of these comments. Let's have a look. Rashford won't play for United again. I know you said that you can see him starting up top at some point next season, but now with his number being taken away, they won't give him another one. Look, if he ends up staying, that would be the biggest redemption arc story known to man. Honestly, that would be massive. And the media would be all over that. Eddie Howe took an average squad to top 4 back in 2022, 2023. Expectations on Amorim should be to improve some of the players at the club. Iniesta. I agree. I concur with that. I'm starring that. I concur with that. I absolutely concur with that. That's a great comment. What Sedek said. So these are the very limited players at our club. Sell Garnacho for 70. No one's buying him though, Sedek. No one wants him for that much money. Andy says, I want Amorim to do less interviews and don't answer questions on the players who want to leave. I agree. DJ Leak says, as much as I wanted Rashford out the club, he's better than Højlund, and if he stays, I'd play him up front. Okay, let me ask you this. There's a fair few people in here now. Let me ask you this. What do you think Rashford would want from Manchester United to stay at the club? What do you honestly think that Rashford would want? Because I think he would want assurances of being a striker. That I think that's where he sees himself at. I think he would want an apology from Amorim. And I genuinely mean that. I think he would want Amorim to come out an apology. Now, those 2 things there, I don't think that ever happens. I genuinely feel like it's done with Rashford. It's absolutely done. Players have too much power. This needs to change. Facts. Sophie says, is there a possibility Amorim walks if they don't get his players? I've said this a few times, Sophie, and I'll say it again, bud. No manager walks from a club. No, it's very rare because it's the money. They walk out, they miss out on a massive payoff. There's no way. If he was to walk, if Amorim was to turn round, right, and I remember Martin O'Neill doing this a few years ago with Aston Villa. If you're old enough, you might remember. If Amorim, say, let's say in a week or two's time, breaking news, Sky Sports News, Ruben Amorim quits the club, walks out. That would be a massive, massive blow, not just to the club for now, but that would absolutely show what is happening behind the scenes. And they've painted a picture to us that everything is going okay and we seem to be doing things the right way. That would change. That would rock the foundations of football. That would. Back five doesn't look terrible, but that attack and midfield is bottom half standard. I wouldn't disagree entirely with that. I swear you change that squad. Dan looks worse every week. I wish I did. I'd love to change the squad. That's the dream. I don't see him pulling up trees now, but if we can pick our best 11 every week, we should definitely be top 8. About 9 first team play. Oh, crikey. Ruben's at the wheel. Oh, God. Come on, it's me, Everest. Come on. We do need a striker. We absolutely do. Christ, you got me there. Still need a keeper and a striker. Then we'd have a decent starting 11, couple of injuries, though, and we are well and truly Daffy Ducked. I'm stealing that, Ben. Daffy Ducked. I've never used that one before. I'm using that one. And Chappie says, if Amorim hasn't got the players for his system, then change it to suit the players we have. I've been waiting for someone to say this. Chappie, thank you. Thank you. I've been waiting for someone to say this, that we need to change the style to suit the players we have. And I'm not, don't worry, Chappie, this isn't a dig at you, mate. Don't worry. I've just been waiting for someone to say it. These players have been played in a formation that they felt was good for them, was what they were used to. And we finished 8th one season. And before Ten Hag got sacked, we were doing abysmal. Okay. These players don't deserve that. These players don't deserve to have their needs met. They are professional footballers. I would understand it, Chappie, if you and I were called up to play for United and I was told to play left. All right, Dan, you're going to be a left-sided centre attacker midfielder. I need you to hug the line, cut inside. I wouldn't be able to do it because in my day, I was a centre-back, hence the size. These players are professional footballers. They should be able to do a job. I'm not saying that they should be world-class at it, but they should be able to do a job there. Should be able to. Alex says we get Bryan in and maybe a new midfielder and replace Onana, and with one game a week we can get through the season. We can't fix this in one window. Alex, I agree with that. I do agree with that. But what you're asking for there, right? What you're asking for, bud, we haven't even got the first one sorted. So what makes anyone think you as well, my friend? What makes you think that we're going to be able to go out there and get the midfielder and then the striker? You are absolutely right, right? You are absolutely right. Manchester United do not fix this with one window. We know that. We absolutely know that. But I'd like to think that anybody involved in this football club has sat there and gone, this shouldn't have taken this long. It just can't be that way. A shirt number. Ben, love that. Yes, listen to Queen Sophie. Listen to Queen Sophie. She knows what she's talking about. Get those likes in, people, and make sure you are subscribing if you are new. And yeah, you are right. It's not up to him. It's up to the club. He would want regular game time and respect for it. Only Conte works. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Rashford said he doesn't like playing as a striker, says Andy. I swear I heard he wanted to play for Villa. 12 to 18 months left on his contract. He would want regular game time and respect from the fans, do things he won't get anymore. We can't fix things for years to come as we will have even less money for years. Well, this is another thing. If Manchester United don't get Europe next season, we'll be even more skint next season. Believe that. I agree a good manager should be able to improve the players he's had. Eddie worked miracles with what he had. Eddie did. I agree. No, he can't change. A lot of people saying no to him staying. Thoughts on Palace probably getting kicked out of Europa and Forest promoted. Feel sorry for Palace fans myself. If we had the money and they get demoted to the Conference League, Manchester United should be banging down the door for Mateta. Banging down the door. Absolutely banging down the door. This could be a potential horrible one for Palace because if they lose a few key players, coupled up with that, I mean, look, they've got Europe. They're going to be happy with that, but that would be a kick in the teeth. If it was that easy to coach players, Pep would not need to spend millions on City. Love that. Love that. I'm sorry, guys. I will get through these comments. It was looking so good for United near the start of the window. Cunha in and Bryan looked like he was 1 foot in the door. Gets worse every day as no business happens. People will ask, what was United's best part of pre-season? We'll all say the same thing. June the 1st. June the 1st was mint. June the 1st was stunning. It was all looking so good, and then it completely went to shit. God. Amorim has nothing to apologise for. Rashi and his brother caused all the shite that was going on. Rashford should be the one to come out and say, I want to forget last season and stay and fight for my place. Modern footballers, though, I agree, Moxie. They just won't do it, will they? Steve says, wait till we're in relegation zone at Christmas, then United will bend over backwards for Rashford. Mark my words, right? Mark my words about this. The players that are leaving the club, the players that are looking to leave, the Rashfords, the Garnachos, maybe not the Antonys, but the Sanchos, okay? Them three in particular. You better believe if United start the season absolutely abysmally, they will be on their social medias sending all sorts. They'll be doing the laughing emoji of the results. That just shows everything about the character of the player. Absolutely shows everything about the character of the player. And I, for one, can't wait for these bozos to piss off. DJ Leakey says some players will leave, then players will start arriving. Yeah, but DJ Leakey, this is the problem, okay? This is the problem, my guy. What if these players don't leave until halfway through August? Well, then we're trying to get players in when the season's already started, trying to get them into the system with Amorim. We've wasted so much time already with him having one-on-one time with the players, getting them integrated with the squad, getting out what he wants from his players. And we're missing it, and we are missing out on that. And I just worry, absolutely worry. What is happening with Brian, Dan? I'm late on the stream. Jamie, you could be 6 months late, mate. It's the same old news. There is nothing happening, mate. It looks like there are talks that there are a couple of clubs, Newcastle and Spurs, that are looking at Wissa. If Wissa goes, it will be very hard to get Bryan out of that contract. Let me just have a quick look, yo. Let me just have a quick look and see if by some miracle we've got something. Let me have a look. Nope. Manchester United striker caught in two minds over transfer. Nah, fucking bollocks, innit? It's absolute nonsense. It's the same old stuff. It's the same old regurgitated shit. In other news today, guys and girls, Diogo Dalot has now been given the number 2 shirt. Whoop-de-doo! Have I got... Hang on a minute. Have I got anything that can... I've got nothing that can... Nothing. I've got nothing that can give joy with that. I've got nothing that I can show you that goes... Get in there. I've got nothing. In fact, let me give you the intro. Hang on. Let me give you the intro. Hello, number 2. Come on. Do you know what I mean? Like, what do they expect? What do they expect? And the other news as well today, which I find baffling, I'll come through your comments in a second. Manchester United are abandoning the gift giving that happens in a pre-season friendly between two clubs because they see it, get this, as needless. It's needless. This is an age-old thing that has happened for years. But Manchester United, big shocker, they're saying it's needless. We know that they just don't want to spend the money. I mean, what's the difference in sending Gail from the office to the works in town and making something yourself, for fuck's sake? This club. Oh! What else have we got here? Lucas says, we're all excited for July the 1st, waiting for all the signings to start flying through the doors. So excited. Now it's July the 9th, and it's exciting for all other clubs, but not for United or West Ham. In fact, it must be in the name Newcastle. It must be in the name United. Imagine if you got us Champions League and we buy a player that stops you getting yours. Oh, Sophie. We got to talk. I don't think I can take this from you. DJ Leakey says, unfortunately, Ten Hag screwed us. Got to be positive. If by the end of the window we have what we want, then it's all good. So there is an element. I saw, was it United People's TV? Sam, shout out again for Sam. Alvaro Fernandez. I mean, I think he goes by the name, what do we call him nowadays? Alvaro Carreras. So he's off to Madrid. He's off to Real Madrid. And there was a great conversation that Sam had. And he said that Alvaro Caracas or Fernandez, I've completely gone now. Alvaro. Basically, they were saying that he, obviously going to Real Madrid now, going to play for Real Madrid, one of the biggest clubs in Europe, not by tonight's standards, but that's for another story. United had him, loaned him out to Preston, brought him back, brought in Sergio Reguilon, and then binned him. Doesn't that tell you everything about Ten Hag? Amad Diallo, who we all know was the one shining light last season. At the start of the season, Amad Diallo couldn't get a game above Anthony. Do you remember that game where Anthony got subbed on ahead of Diallo, only for Anthony to get injured and Diallo to get subbed on? And I remember, and I hated this with United fans. I thought some of them were so wrong. They were there saying, look at Diallo's attitude on the side of the pitch. Mate, you can't go at Diallo for having Anthony subbed on instead of you. So I just think this comment, how much Ten Hag did screw us. The players, some of them turned out to be decent, but a lot of the players he wanted, absolute joke. Yeah, breaking news, still no news. Jesus Christ. It's me, Everett says, I don't want to cuss your fans, but just because someone's bro is a friend of Rashford's, they never criticise his form in the overlap or anywhere, and that fan has a huge following who agrees with him. Yeah, no, I agree. There's a lot of people on the overlap. There's a lot of people, yeah, on the overlap that have their favourites. It's always been the way, hasn't it? I've seen we've got a new recruit person. Yep, about 4 weeks too late, Jamie. Honestly, mate, it's so bad, isn't it? It's so bad. Why do I feel Amorim is going to fail because of the club not backing him? Andy, because at the moment, you have to say it's true. It is. And Sophie, big comment, massive comment. I mean, you can't argue it, can you? You can't argue it. Believe us, Dan. Yeah. I'll tell you what, if we do get, the second we get a Here We Go, I'm going to have a whole new entrance for you guys. I'm going to be walking in like Vince McMahon. Well, not now, not like that Vince McMahon, but of old. No, not of old. I'm making that fucking worse. You know what I'm talking about. We thought 1st of July was lift off. 9 days later, the fuse is unlit. Somebody's poured water on that fuse. Somebody has poured water on that fuse. It's happened with membership packs this season, Dan. If you want the basic stuff, we usually get hat, scarf, pen. You just have to pay for it. And they'll have excuses for that all along. They will. Oh, well, costs are arising. Giniesta said Man United had a clause and could get Alvaro Carreras for next to nothing. Shocking recruitment policy to spend 40 million on Dorgu instead. I have a theory about that, though, Giniesta. I don't think he wanted to come back, mate. You can have that clause and you can put the offer in, but I think he probably sent the feelers out the second that was reported and said, "You really think I'm going back to that club after the way they treated me?" Absolutely not. And while he has his rise all the way up the table, up the pyramid now to Real Madrid, he'll look at United and go, "Look what you fucking missed." I used to watch Pete load his mag on Potts' channel about Mike Ashley. Those were some funny moments indeed. Everest at the time, yeah, honestly, I'm just getting close for myself. And yeah, Andy got rid of De Gea. Ten Hag got rid of De Gea. Absolutely. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I need to go through with you beautiful people tonight. Oh, there is something else. There is some good news. I'll tell you the good news in a second. Away kit out on the 16th of the 7th. If Bryan deal's going to happen, I think that's when it will be announced. I wouldn't put it past them, Ben. I wouldn't put it past them. When's that? A week today, funnily enough. A week today. I tell you what, I'm writing this down. And McLean. Bryan, 16th and the 7th. I'm going to put away shirt. That's in the book, okay? That is in the book. If that becomes true, you'll get your flowers for that. Look what Areola has done at Bournemouth, turned average players into superstars. Well, we could talk about the way that Manchester United players carry themselves until the cows come home, but it's an old story we know. No, she's not. She's younger than me, mate. Right, so there is another bit of news. So a couple of pieces. The first one is Vlahovic, apparently Juventus are interested in ending Vlahovic's contract. Now, I'm going to say this right here, and I'm going to say it nice and calmly and steadily. We do not want Vlahovic. We don't want Vlahovic. I am going to say this again right now. There is becoming a list of players that we have been linked to that I would absolutely take Rasmus Højlund over. Vlahovic is one of them. DCL is definitely one of them. Jamie Vardy is one of them. Callum Wilson is one of them. And I'm going to say Moises Kean as well. I saw him at Moises Kean. I saw him at Moises Kean for Everton. And yeah, he scored a few goals for Fiorentina last season. But that's 5 strikers that we've been linked to that I would still take Højlund over. Now, call me crazy. Call me crazy, but I just think, what's the fucking point in going and wasting our time and getting another striker in? Now, don't get me wrong. There is a caveat to that. There is a caveat to that. And as It's Me Everest says, he would ask for a lot of wages. So it's absolutely the wrong option. And again, yeah, his injuries are terrible. Guys, as well, make sure you're smashing a like on the channel and make sure you are subscribing. Please remember that. The support is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much. But there is only a caveat to that, in that I would take, and again, this is silly, but I would take one of the 3 we mentioned on a free transfer as a third choice striker for cheap wages. And I mean, they would have to be for 2 of, well, in fact, yeah, for 2 of them, DCL and Wilson, it would have to be almost pay as you play, because they have had so many injury problems that it is embarrassing. But I am not taking any of those 5 strikers as a starter above Rasmus Højlund. And that, again, in turn shows how bad this summer is going for Manchester United. How many Man United players would get into the Bournemouth team? Bruno, nobody else. Steve, I disagree now, because they've sold a few of them, haven't they? They've sold a few of them. Yeah, I agree with that. Should just offer Garno in a swap for Osimhen. Osimhen doesn't want to come, though, DJ Leakey. He's literally about to go to Galatasaray, because what are they doing? They're paying the Wonga. Mucho De Niro. Robert De Niro. That's what they're doing. I take Vlahovic as a backup striker, but not as our main striker, but he'll want massive wages. Exactly, there lies the problem. Yet people are saying play Rasmus. Okay, yeah, guys in the chat, would you rather play Rasmus or sign one of those strikers as a number 1? Would you rather play Rasmus or sign one of those strikers as a number 1? Let me have a sip of my drink. Let me have a sip. What we got here? Lucas, you bloody have him. Man United, I take Vlahovic, really quality striker and suits the Prem, just my opinion. Lucas, let me just get it up a second. Hang on. Let me get this up a second. Let's get transfer market up. Good old transfer market. Let me get the detailed info. And let me get all competitions for this season. Let me share this screen for you all as well. Let me get rid of that. Right, here we go. Where are we? There we go. Right. Let's have a look at this. I'll see if I can zoom in a bit so it looks right. Let me look at that. That for me, as a striker, I have to ask the question: how different is that to Rasmus? 10 goals, okay, in 29 appearances, 1 in the Italian Cup, 4 in the Champions League, and then he's got 2 in the Club World Cup where they were absolutely abysmal. That, to me, I'm not willing to accept it, Lucas. I couldn't have him. I absolutely could not have him. Couldn't have him. Couldn't have him. Let's see what some of you guys are saying. I'll come to that comment in a second. That, to me, what's his stats? His career stats. So what's that? 58 in 145 games for Juventus, 49 in 100. Yeah, so I mean, it's not terrible, but for the wages he's on, I'm not taking that one. I'm absolutely not taking that one. Let me just remove that. Let me bring me back up. I'm not taking that. I just, it's not a bit. That's not a bit of me. I'll be honest. So what have we got here? We've got I'd take Wilson over DCL for third backup. I agree with that, Jamie. I'd probably out of the three I would. Sign Vlahovic over Højlund. Okay. Andy says Rasmus. Chappie says better the devil you know. I love this one. DJ Leakey says I'd rather play Bugs Bunny than Højlund. Rasmus needs that loan move, to be honest, to get some mojo back. Here's another situation. Let me just stop sharing that screen. Right, here's another situation. Rasmus could go on in pre-season and score 5 or 6, and you look and go, "Okay, hell, something changed here." But I'm not taking Rasmus coming back a week earlier and training with Harry Maguire for obvious reasons. He's rang up Harry. He said, Harry, it's Rasmus. You all right, Rasmus? Yeah, listen, bro. Yeah, I saw you towards the end of the season for United. You were banging some goals. Are you up for a bit of one-on-one training? You can teach me what you're doing. Maybe Harry Maguire's the coach we thought we never needed. I'd start Cheeto over Erasmus and Xerxes. I like that. Dan Potts said that the other night, actually. He said that he could see later on in the season him getting more minutes. Sophie says, just so happens United want Sancho out and Juve want him. Now they want Vlahovic out and Man United need a striker. It's so written. Well, it isn't, though, is it, Sophie? Because unfortunately, it turns out that Juventus's main target is Conceição. Apparently, Sancho all along has been a plan B, as per Fabrizio Romano. There's never even been a proper fucking offer in there. So again, we get screwed. Again, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, let me just share that screen again. Let me share the screen. Get that up a second. Can you see that, folks? Let me just bring that up. There you go. I might have to zoom in for you. Hang on. So this is as per Fabrizio Romano. Juventus have not sent any formal bid to Man United for Sancho so far, despite reports. There were no club-to-club negotiations. Talks took place with Jadon's agents last week, as Juve confirmed no intention to cover salary for Sancho. Again, guys. Again. And another one. Another scenario. Okay? Another scenario where, because of the fucking mistakes in the previous seasons with the way that we do our business, we are lumbered with a player that doesn't want to go anywhere. So unfortunately, Sophie, I don't see it happening like that. Ben says, I'd get Vardy. Rasmus could learn a lot from him, would also take the pressure off Rasmus not being the only one. I love it. I love the idea of Jamie Vardy scoring in a United shirt, regardless of how old he is. I mean, it's just proper Royal Overs, isn't it? What else have we got here? That is half fit for most of the season, though, Dan. Yeah, okay. Lucas, I could be wrong. I just think for the money he's going to want, I mean, how much is Vlahovic on a season? How much is his wages? Profile. Where's his wages? He's on a fair bit. I'll have to look for it. Here he is. Again, yes, I want Osimhen, Bryan, Edison, Rios, Wesley, Vinicius to United is better for next season. Please, Ineos, make a plan. Well, Rios is out the question because Rios, by the looks of it, is going to fucking Roma. But no, I get your idea there. Rasmus is saying, Xerxes is the one to watch this season. Going to be quality. I saw a post about Xerxes. Is there a world in this season where Xerxes gets 20 GNA this season for Manchester United? Sophie comes straight back with no way. I'm excited for Shea Lacey and Mantanto. What we built our club on youth. Yeah, well, I mean, potentially Shea Lacey is an absolute talent. But yeah, I don't think this season. I think this season's too soon for him. They're all going to stay. Do you rate Kolo Muani? Kolo Muani, man, I thought he was at Juve. Was that a loan? Let me have a look. Let's bring him up. Let's bring. Yeah, he's at Juve. He's at Juve. Oh no, he's gone. No, has he gone back? Okay, that changes things. Let's bring that up a second. No, we want to share this tab instead, don't we? Kolo Muani. So apparently, he's gone back to PSG. I thought Juventus had signed him. You know, I thought they'd signed him. Current club, yeah. Fuck me. On loan from PSG. That changes things. Let me just have a look. Let's just get all competitions here. Let's get this up. Bear with me. I mean, okay. Well, yeah. Didn't play much, did he? Didn't play much for PSG, but then went to Juventus and got, what was it, one in every two games. Okay, I'll ask the chat. That is a great question, that is. Oh, do you rate? I thought you said we want. Yeah, I do rate him. Absolutely rate him. Is there a world where Kolo Muani becomes the player that Manchester United go for? On a free track, not on a free, on a loan. Is that someone we look at? I would absolutely take that. I'd take that as a loan. Freedom Sancho cares more about the money than football. Again and again, agree. Remember, Rasmus was bought to be the second striker. I know, I agree, and I do remember that, Andy. I do. His aga do. The problem with him is they should have brought a recognised striker in with him. Do I rate him as backup? Do you rate him as backup, Isaac? Oh, right. Okay, sorry. 4-0 now to PSG, man. Vlahovic or Ramos? Ramos, 100%. There we go. Talking about Ramos, he scored the goal. Moxie, you want Ramos, don't you? You want Ramos. Alex says, you're totally right. I don't know why I think they'll get the signs across the line, but I have blind faith that we will. The curse of being a United fan in the current arc. Alex, it's nothing but respect and love because of that. Let me just remove your comment because that's all we got. That's all we got. That is all we've got. I'm sacrificing watching the match to be here. I can only think it's because of my devilishly handsome quiff. It's me, Everest, and the fact that you are one of the OGs. I shout out to all the OGs. If you haven't liked already on the stream, give a like for the OGs because they are absolutely one of the reasons that this channel is doing so well. PSG only want 40 million. Loan was to Juventus. Oh, do you know something? I mean, if we can afford it. Yeah, Juve did, didn't they? Juventus bought Jonathan David instead of Kolo Muani on a permanent. Maybe I'll stop watching the men's game and follow the women. We'd probably curse them if we started following them. Yeah, he's only there from Juventus. I'd take him all day. They're okay. It's me, Everest. They're not bad. I'd rather Watkins over Ramos. Prem proven is key. Moxie and Dan. My man Cancelo. Yes. And we need to sign Douglas Luiz as his other half will join the women's team. They're no longer together. I hate to break it to you, Ben, but they're no longer together. Douglas Luiz and I can't remember her name. They split up. They've gone their separate ways. And yes, as Queen Sophie says, smash them likes. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you very much, Sophie. I'm a top guy because of the work that you guys and girls put in to this show. And on that note, it is well over an hour. I'm boiling my nuts off. I need to get some good news in me. Tomorrow, Manchester United fans of football, we need good news. We crave good news. So Ineos, Wilcox, Barada, don't just do it for me. Don't just do it for Manchester United fans. We do it for the Bryan Brigade. The Bryan Brigade. We need to get these players. Tomorrow, give me some news that I crave. Manchester United fans, this is Dan United and the Bryan Brigade. Ooh!